Hey guys, I've had a few of you reaching out to me asking about how I applied for the SBA loan and the unemployment insurance benefits. And it took me a little bit of research to figure out how to go about doing it. So I just thought I would share that with y'all, maybe save y'all some time. I'll also add that I am definitely not a CPA anywhere close to it. So if you have further questions at that point, you definitely would want to ask your business advisor or CPA. One thing I'd like to share with you though is if there's any of you thinking that you don't need to apply for it, you don't need the money, save it for someone who really does need it. The way that I'm justifying it for myself is I don't need it today or tomorrow, but who knows what the future brings. And there are plenty of people, including the airlines and cruise ship industries, that are putting their hand out for it. So why shouldn't we? Our industry is part of the financial sector, and there's a lot of other industries that depend on us. So we as agents definitely need to stay afloat because we are needed. The industry and economy will rebound, and we need to be there and prepared when it does. So with all of that being said, I'm going to put the links to both of those applications down underneath the video. And when you start with, if you start with the unemployment one, for example, whether you operate as a sole proprietor or as a team, on a team or in charge of a team, the benefits are for you. They are forgivable, so you do not have to pay taxes on it. So says the stimulus package information. And where you would traditionally have to be out looking for additional work, you do not have to do that. So first thing it's going to ask you is if you have a PIN or create a PIN, please write that down, because if you forget that PIN number, I can imagine if it's like anything else with the government, it will be a nightmare and totally screw everything up for you. So as soon as you create it, write that thing down. Then when you are completing the form, make sure that when it asks you if you've had an employer in the last 18 months, that unless you have another W-2 gig, or unless you have a W-2 gig, you're going to want to put no. If you are a real estate agent or broker, your company is not your employer. You are self-employed. Once you do that, all the remaining questions will ask you anything that is related to being being a 1099 individual, not a W-2 employee. If you're approved, not only will you get the money from the state, but the federal government will also give you money in addition to that. Then the other link that I'll put down below is for the SBA loan specifically for Georgia. Both of these application links are for Georgia. When you are filling out the SBA loan, just know that it is forgivable as well, up to $10,000 for permissible use. You can read in the statute what permissible is, but from what I understood, my take on it is anything that I would be using it for to stay afloat would be permissible and therefore not need to be repaid, up to $10,000. If you apply for a grant or a loan larger than $10,000 and you get it, anything over that would have to be paid back, and it does state what the interest rate would be in the information, in the stimulus information. Also in the link below, I'm going to put a link to a video that I used to fill the application out. It's very thorough and very informative, helpful. So definitely watch that. What you're going to be applying for is something called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and that, again, video will walk you through it. What you're going to be asking for is an advance on the loan, a grant up to $10,000. For those of you that are type A or ADDs, below is some information, so if you don't want to watch the video, that will be helpful. When you click on the link, at the top of the page will be a highlighted section that says click here. That's where you will want to click to start the application process. One of the first questions that it will ask you is your EIN number or your social security number. If you are incorporated, you're going to want to use your EIN number. If you're not, you'll put your social security number in there, and even though you're putting your social security number in there, it's going to look like an EIN number format. Just ignore it, put your number in, and keep going. Then it's going to ask you what type of entity you are. If you file a Schedule C, then you're going to choose sole proprietor. It's going to ask you for your business name and your trade name. If you are incorporated, of course, that would be your business name. If you were at one time, like I was at one time when I had a team, then I used the business name in that spot because that's the name that is still on my checking account. And that's just the decision I chose to go with. Then it will ask you your trade name, and that would be the name that you go by in your business, in your everyday business. If those happen to be one and the same, if you're not incorporated, or if you are 1099 in your personal name, then that is what is going to go in both of those blanks. In addition to that, it's going to ask you for your gross income. That is going to be your number that is on your 1099. And if you file a Schedule C, it's going to be on that page. You'll find it. It's going to be your gross number, not your net number. And again, let's see, the next question it will ask you about is cost of goods. And we do not sell goods. We sell something intangible. So that answer is going to be 0. And you can double check that with your CPA, but I'm pretty sure for us it's going to be 0. And then all of the remaining questions pertaining to income, unless you have another form of income. As I said, if you have a part-time gig where you're W-2'd, or if you get spousal support or rental income, then that is what you would be putting in those blanks. But for me, I had no other source of income, and so all of my relating blanks were 0. And that is pretty much it. The rest of it was pretty basic answers, but of the people that reached out to me, those were the questions that I was getting, and so I just thought, again, I would share that with y'all. I really encourage y'all to do this. It's a first come, first served basis, and once the money is gone, then it'll be gone. And again, you might not need it today or think you're going to need it at all, but it is for you. It's meant for you, so why not take advantage of it? Thanks, and I hope that was helpful, and y'all have a good weekend, at least here in the Atlanta area. It looks like it's going to be a sunny weekend. I know we can't go anywhere, but we can at least get out in our own houses and our yards and enjoy. So talk to you later.